Game week for us is here. Going to be a really, really challenging week for us. It's fun to open in Diddle. We haven't done that. I don't know if we've done that. I don't remember the last time we opened in Diddle, but had the opportunity to get these high-level teams in here opening weekend, so we had to make it work. Three teams that are a lot like us. They're all three mid-majors, but they're high-level mid-major teams. They all won 20 last year. All of them are in the top 60, 70 RPI. A great opportunity to start building that RPI again early on. Three great programs, three quality coaches. Should be a lot of fun.
You kind of mentioned during the preseason, the media day we had, that those might not be names that jump off the page to your typical fan, but they're the challenge that all three present. That's got to be a nice way to throw yourself in the fire.
Yeah, we've long been, our program has long been a symbol of, we may not be in a power conference, but I promise you we're playing at a pretty high level around here, and that's what all three of these programs can say as well. They're all from mid-major conferences, but they're all, like I said, highly successful and really well coached. And sometimes there's a bigger challenge. Sometimes you play a Power 5 team early on that's big and physical, maybe doesn't handle the ball as well, things like that. You can find some warts on them early on to exploit, and these are just rock solid teams with great coaches, and I doubt there'll be any short matches this weekend. We're all facing the same thing. We all returned some good talent, but we all graduated some significant pieces too, and so it's who can replace those pieces and put it together the quickest. And so I'm excited to see where we are, but it would be a huge start to our season if we can come out of this thing with some wins.
A lot of times early in the season, coaches are focused internally more than externally and preparing for matchups. This weekend, what are some things internally you're looking to see how the team responds with in this opening slate?
Yeah, to tell you how internally, I couldn't tell you other than who they lost and who they're returning. Like, I haven't watched a bit of film on any of these teams yet and you hear me say this every year, like early in the year, it's about being a good version of yourself if you can find a way to do that. And it's too soon to be clean and perfect. You watched our football game this week. There were times when they looked incredible in their execution. There were times when you saw them miss some opportunities, and that's going to be the name of it early on. For us, we just have so many new faces that are going to be out there. It's just how quickly can we get them to settle in and just play the game they've been playing their whole life. And we're incredibly young this year, but we're really talented. I am very, very, very much looking forward to coaching this team throughout the year. And I'm not sure it's going to be a team that every single day goes out and is the best version of themselves, because we're just so young. I think we'll probably have 3-4 freshmen on the court, and so it blended with 2 or 3 kids that have done nothing but win here for 4 years and be a part. Callie Bauer and Abby Schaefer, and these kids have been doing this for a long time, and so it's an interesting blend on the court right now, and it's just about trying to find ourselves. I think we're going to be better defensively this year. I know we're going to be better defensively this year. Kennedy Cherry and Taylor Barron and some of the pieces we added defensively are going to really, really help. Offensively, I think we will ultimately be really good, but there's so many new faces that I think it may take a little bit of time to iron that part out.
Coming into last year, we talked about who's going to fill in the blank for Paige Briggs, and now this year, saying who's going to fill in the blank for Kaylee Cox. Do you have anybody that's stepping up, or is that going to be kind of a committee?
Yeah, it's going to be. Olivia Skidmore is going to have to step forward and carry a bigger load for us. If you watched her evolve last year, even in her freshman year, at the beginning of the year, this weekend last year, we were platooning her and Faith Young on the left side. We didn't even know if Olivia would end up in our starting lineup, and she ended up being the freshman of the year of the league. And by NCAA tournament time, was carrying almost the same load that Kaylee Cox was carrying offensively for us. And so it's Liv's turn. She's had a great offseason, and I think that she'll impact us in a big way. And, for the last couple of years, we've been really young in the middle. And now you look up and some of those kids are more veteran. We've got, Izzy Vanderweely as a junior and Gabby Wise a junior and Faith Young's a sophomore. So we're a little more veteran there than we are other places. And then Kyra Knox on the right side is a kid that you be careful how much you ask of a true freshman, but she's a pretty gifted player, and I think that you'll see. I have a feeling the next couple weeks when we talk on Mondays, you'll be asking questions about Kyra Knox. She's a pretty talented kid, and I think can really impact us early on.
What did you see from your team at the Bellarmine exhibition?
That we can defend. I'm much like our floor defense. It's going to be a really, really fun year to come to Diddle and watch, because the rallies are going to be, you'll see more extended rallies than you've seen from our program in the last few years. You'll see more hustle plays than you've seen. It's not that those teams didn't play hard. This team has just got a different style and identity defensively. Like we've really invested in our defensive players. We have, Abby Schaefer's been our libero for the last 3 years, and she's in a dogfight right now with Kennedy Cherry and Taylor Barron. Like all three of those kids are libero quality players, and what that will mean is when a couple of them end up on the court together, you're going to see a ball that gets dug off the court that you think that plays over, and somebody's going to go screaming after it and find a way to flip it back over their head. And you're going to see more of that out of this team this year. I'm sure of it. I've watched it for the last 2 weeks, and it's going to be harder and harder to get balls to the floor against us. And even though, we've been one of the best offensive teams in the country over the last few years, and I think we will be very good again, I really hope the identity of this team and what everybody starts talking about outside of it and even within our locker room is who we are as a defensive team, because I think we have a combination of physicality at the net. Izzy was one of the best blockers in the country last year, and now we've put some kids flying around back there behind her, and so I think that we have a chance to really become a really good defensive team.
You'll have a pretty heavy non-conference load, so how's that going to impact you?
Well, it's just going to be relentless. When you look at last year's non-conference schedule, had some heavy hitters, but then it had a group down here that you probably were going to show up and win to kind of blend together. This year is just relentlessly teams that are top 100 teams. I think 7 of our first 9 opponents are teams that finished in the top 100 last year. And so this literally, for the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, this could go either way. We could be sitting here. We're talented enough that we could be sitting here and be 10-3. 3 weeks from now, we're vulnerable enough in terms of the level of competition that we're playing that we could be sitting here and be 4-8. And I'm not sure that would mean we were good or bad either way, if that makes sense, because I think the level of play is just going to be really, really good every night. And I think that's how you build a resume. You play that level of teams. B, when you're as young as we are, we need to make sure that by the time we hit Conference USA play that there's not much we haven't seen. And I think if we can navigate this non-conference schedule pretty well, I think that it puts us in a really good position to be prepared to get into conference play.
As far as this first weekend goes, what are you looking to get out of these first handful of matchups, before you hit that conference schedule?
Just 2 things, fight and consistency. That's the 2 things. We're young, we're really young, and when you're young, when things go bad, sometimes, that causes you to draw back. It causes you to get quiet on the court. It causes you to question what you're doing. And so the first thing I'm looking for is fight. Like when it goes ugly, which it's too early in the season not to be ugly at times, but when it's ugly, can we grind? Can we find a way? Can we, maybe win 2 or 3 hustle points that we need because we're not very clean offensively right now and find a way to win 26-24 anyway? That's going to be a big one for me. Can we fight? And these kids have it in them individually. Like we have that kind of kids right now. This has been a super fun team to coach. But can they remember that? Can they remember who they are in those moments? Or, will they be overwhelmed by it? And then, you know, consistency. The hardest part, when you play high school volleyball, you know, you play if you're in a good high school program, you know, if you play 25 games, you know, maybe 10 of them do you have to really be locked in to win. And then there's that group of games that you can kind of just show up and you're going to win. College volleyball is not like that. And so can we win a set and walk back out and be locked in at the beginning of the next set? Can we get beat in a set and walk back out and be ready to play in the next set? Because the uniqueness of our sport is, you know, if Tyson's got a 2-touchdown lead at halftime, he starts the second half with a 2-touchdown lead. In our sport, we can win 25-12 and have a 13-point lead, and then we walk back out and it's 0-0 again. And that's a challenge in terms of your consistency. And so those are the two things I'm looking for, is can we show up and be good early in every set? And when it gets hard or ugly or we're out of sync, can we just grind? And if we do those two things, then regardless of what happens, it'll be a great weekend for us.